Get ready, because things are heating up in a big way down here in Miami. And there's something serious shaking up the Dolphins right now. You know that calm before a storm we all feel at Hard Rock? Yeah, that one. A little detail inside this roster might be the key to the breakout we've been waiting on for years. There's strategy shifting behind the scenes, some fires burning quietly, guys coming back into the picture, and a whole lot of debate about what could change the course of this final stretch. Are we looking at the turning point every fan has been begging for? Settle in, hit that like, and let's jump straight into it. If there's one thing Dolphins fans have complained about forever, it's how hard it's been to build an offensive line we could actually trust. But that script is flipping and flipping fast. Miami's O-line has been one of the strongest reasons this team rolled into the 2025 bye with real momentum to straight wins and 3 in the last 4. That's huge for a unit that spent years as the bottleneck. The secret is continuity. It sounds basic, but when you line up the same 5 guys up front for 8 straight games, especially in Miami, that's a luxury we've barely seen in a decade. Patrick Paul at left tackle, Jonas Savania at left guard, Aaron Brewer at center, Cole Strange at right guard, and Larry Brome at right tackle. They've been rolling together ever since Strange took over at right guard. And the chemistry doesn't happen by accident. Miami hasn't had a streak like this since 2012. Remember Jake Long, Richie Incognito, Mike Pouncey, John Jerry, and Jonathan Martin? They held it down for the first 12 games that season. Since then, the best the team managed was 7 games until now. Hitting 8 this year is a massive boost for chemistry, timing, and everything that keeps this offense functioning at a real NFL level. Last year in 2024, the longest streak was 5, and that was already progress. In 2023, the whole thing was a revolving door thanks to injuries. Terron Armstead, Isaiah Wynn, Austin Jackson, all missing time and forcing constant shuffling. Now it's a different world. The group is more consistent, better in run blocking, and protecting the quarterback with a level of rhythm that just wasn't there. But here's the catch. Austin Jackson is back at practice and should be back on the field soon. That could shake up the continuity we're finally enjoying. Jackson opened the season as a starter against the Colts and got a contract extension 2 years ago, so the Dolphins clearly believe in him. You're not keeping a guy like that on the bench forever. Analytics paint a mixed picture. Pro Football Focus ranks the Dolphins O-line 27th, which looks rough, but Pro Football Network has them at 11th, which lines up better with what we've been seeing. What matters is the growth. Game by game, this group is trending up. Look at the Falcons, Bills, and Washington matchups. The run game got more yards than in any other stretch this season, and penalties dropped big time. Just won in the last 2 games after averaging at least every week before that. That's discipline. That's focus. And in a long NFL season, that stuff matters as much as talent. The standout here is Devon Achane. Back-to-back 100-yard games. And that doesn't happen without lanes. Sure, he's electric, but consistent blocking turns that spark into real production. Bottom line, keeping this starting O-line together is one of Miami's biggest advantages in 2025. It feels like this team finally found the anchor the offense has needed for years. A foundation that could point towards something big down the road. And while we're celebrating that, trust me, more is coming. This season hasn't even shown its final card yet. Then the news drops that the Dolphins are putting safety Jordan Colbert on injured reserve. And yeah, it sets off alarms. Maybe his name doesn't jump out like a star, but the story behind it matters. Colbert is only 25. Came in as an undrafted free agent out of Rhode Island in 2024, bounced on and off the practice squad, fought his way into the roster. Nothing was handed to him. In 2025, he played 5 games and logged 5 tackles. Not huge numbers, but signs he was carving out a role. Miami has made it clear they're willing to develop young guys who grind, and Colbert fits the mold. He's been more active on special teams than in the main defense, but he's part of the long-term plan. His move to injured reserve forces the Dolphins to open up a spot, and that spot matters. Safety is a position where Miami demands versatility, physicality, and discipline. Even young players affect the depth chart in ways you feel on Sundays. This also shows how tough it is for rising players to stick when the roster keeps shifting. Colbert needs reps. He needs real snaps to build his case, and injuries put that growth on pause. Fans can't help but wonder, does he bounce back fast, or does this setback slow his path? And it doesn't stop there. Miami keeps working the edges of the roster. Even though the Dolphins aren't playing this week, the front office is moving fast to keep the team sharp. Colbert left that tight 16-13 overtime loss to Washington, and now he's officially out. That changes the whole picture in the defensive backfield. What's interesting is that Colbert has been listed as a safety, but the Dolphins have been using him like a linebacker. That versatility is exactly what the defense has leaned on, especially in key spots. He played 62 snaps this year, all on special teams, but that still makes him a valuable piece. Meanwhile, Juju Brents also hit injured reserve, and the Dolphins replaced him with a Jay Green from the Rams practice squad. Moves like this show the front office is always scanning the market, grabbing guys who already know the speed of the league and can plug in fast. And here's the strategic angle. Miami has been pulling players off other teams' practice squads to fill gaps, like Andre Carter to coming from the Lions after the Jalen Phillips trade. With Colbert's spot open, you could see something similar again, or maybe the Dolphins hold the seed for one of their own players about to return from injured reserve, and there are plenty eligible. Austin Jackson is already back practicing. Doran Waller, James Daniels, Andrew Meyer, and kicker Jason Sanders are all in position to return. Any of them could shift the depth chart overnight. Even with the recent losses, the Dolphins aren't scrambling. They're adjusting smartly, piece by piece, keeping this roster competitive no matter what hits them. These off-field decisions are just as crucial as anything happening between the lines. It's a sign of a mature team that knows how to navigate a long season. What becomes clear is that Miami isn't just reacting to bad luck. They're building around it, staying aggressive, planning ahead, and keeping themselves in position to strike when the moment comes. So with all these moves, all these adjustments, every Dolphins fan is left wondering, how far can this team go with this kind of resilience and preparation? Because what we're seeing right now feels like the opening chapter of something much bigger. The Miami Dolphins keep proving that strength comes from consistency and smart roster management. Stability on the offensive line and sharp decisions through all these injuries show a team that refuses to break. The season is still long and every move counts. Now the question is, how far can this group take it? Drop your thoughts, hit that like, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. We ride together to the end.